Okay.
Good evening. Hello.
Hey, y'all, I can hear you and see you.
Hello.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Good evening.
We will give it just a few minutes here to allow folks to join. I think we're going to have a small but mighty crew on the line tonight, but that's all right. We'll be efficient with our time, and it'll give you an opportunity to ask more personalized questions if you have them. Kiva, are you talking to us?
You had the registration list. How did that look?
This afternoon, I sent y'all who we had so far. There were about 4 folks that were registered. Outside of, your leadership team. And actually, I don't recall Pamela being on that list, so I'm excited to have her.
Yes, I just was trying to say I have no meetings tonight. And I remember Vanessa put it in the chat and I never registered. So thank goodness for GroupMe.
Yes, it always comes through. It's clutch. Comes in clutch. But we are recording this, so there'll be an opportunity if you want to broadcast this out to your network, you certainly can do that. And we have, hopefully the information that you see tonight will be very clear because we've tried to be very concise with tonight's presentation, but certainly if you have questions after this evening, you're welcome to reach out. I'm happy to help you so that we can move things forward. So I think if y'all are okay, we can go ahead and get started. I want to be respectful of those of you who've joined the call. So welcome. Tonight we are hosting the March for Babies Pep Up Rally that is done in partnership with NAASC. I'm excited to see so many women who look like me on the call tonight. It's nice to be in a familiar company. So thank you so much for taking the time. The March for Babies has been a walk that has existed for nearly 85 years. We have been doing March for Babies, and I would be remiss tonight if I did not keep reminding us of the important work that happens when we partner with organizations like NAASC. I think the work that you all are doing is really, it's critical, and I'm excited to have you on the call tonight. So I won't belabor the point, I'll jump right in. My name is Joy Holmes, and I am the Director of Campaign Excellence for the March of Dimes. We have recently gone through some changes in our organization, so I'm a new face to be partnering with you all. Erica Perry, who is a name that is really familiar, is actually returning from maternity leave tomorrow. So you all will have an opportunity, of course, to partner with her again and probably get some more familiar communication than what I have been able to provide. For those of you who are unaware, I am responsible for the overall revenue strategies for our annual giving campaigns, which includes March for Babies, and recently have also been asked to take on our special events. So I do that in partnership with a team of consultants, along with a VP for all of our what we call field campaigns. So I do my best, but Erica's much better. I can't even pretend. So that is the truth of the matter for sure. As we jump into the slides here, I wanted to start by saying thank you. the impact of what we're able to accomplish when organizations like yours join in is really remarkable work. So you see on the slide in front of you, there are 4 million babies who are born receiving life-saving newborn screening. That's a result of the research that's been done by the March of Dimes. When you think about vaccinations, that's the work of the March of Dimes. We have been behind the scenes and hopefully in some areas being on the forefront of issues around equity as it relates to the health of all moms and babies, and particularly our Black and Brown mothers. So 19 million women were reached through our programs, education, and resources. There were over 150 state legislative bills that were passed to advocate for the health of moms and babies. That advocacy work is extremely important. You know that, particularly at the local levels. And unfortunately, that's required to keep equity at the forefront. And then 2,000 moms to be were served through our mobile health units to give healthcare access to uninsured families. So I happen to live in Atlanta, Georgia, of course, where Spelman College is located. But you could drive about 20 miles outside of the city of Atlanta and things get really bleak. And so the work that we're able to do to connect with moms in rural communities, areas like Macon, even that are not that far from Atlanta, but you would be surprised to see, probably not surprised because this is your area, but as you know, when we get into those communities, things fall off drastically. Moms don't have access to care. They cannot get to a hospital. Hospitals are hours away from them. And if they can get to a hospital, what is the transportation to get them there? I mean, there are all these other issues that come up for moms and babies. And so we are excited about the work that we're able to do, but it does not happen without partners like you. The next slide, there's a lot of information on here, so we're not going to cover it all, but I always like to let people know some of the things that we're accomplishing, and that accomplishment comes as a result of partnership. So when you look at 12 new NICU family support locations, there's 79 sites throughout the United States that are serving more than 50,000 families. You know, the NICU, times that families spend in the NICU is certainly a real challenge, and we are supportive of those families and do our very best to provide them comfort and care in times that are most challenging for them. You can see some other things outlined here on the slide. We did $5.7 million in research awards last year to 49 awardees. There were 82 articles published in unique journals. Advocacy information is listed here. Education, so 33,000 health professionals received live and online education. 59% were a part of our implicit bias training. You know that implicit biases exist, particularly in the healthcare space. And so we're coming in and partnering with healthcare facilities to teach their staff about Black biases that we all have, myself included, and to point those things out so that we can try to close this equity gap that is really, really quite extensive. The next slide talks a little bit about our partnership. So March for Babies happens all over the United States of America. There were 6,000 new volunteers who joined us last year. We raised $29.5 million through our March for Babies campaigns that happened all over the country, and $21 million to our special events. I mentioned that briefly at the beginning, that's that strategy that we have around raising money every year that is going right back into the community, funding research to make an impact and difference. I can't get a group of people together without sharing a story of why. So we're going to watch a quick video that's going to tell the story of someone who's been impacted by our work. And there's no one better really to share that than someone who has experienced firsthand the impact of what your giving does. So we will watch this video now. And if y'all give me a thumbs up if you can hear it.
The summer of 2018 is when Jared and I decided we wanted to start a family. We had been married for a couple of years, and we had a lot of stability. We had these great jobs. I had my dream job, a lot of family and love and support around us, and we thought it was time to start a family, and we were so excited to do so. So my pregnancy, for the most part, was amazing, and I was just so happy, and it was just the greatest time. Everything was great up until that last week of my pregnancy.
We had an appointment to go see the GYN, and then at that appointment, I guess with whatever test they were running, they discovered that, you know, she had higher than normal blood pressure. It was enough where they wanted to send us down to labor and delivery and do some testing for preeclampsia. She checked off 2 out of the 3 boxes. There was literally one thing that she didn't have, which is common in preeclampsia.
I felt like something wasn't right. And I voiced my concerns, and my concerns were dismissed. So I was just recovering from the C-section, and I was still swollen, but all the doctors and medical professionals told me that it was all normal, it was fluids, everything was okay. That night, I had a migraine, and at first, I didn't think anything of it. I thought, okay, it's a migraine, I'll just take some medicine, drink some water, no big deal. Out of nowhere, I just felt the sudden urge to vomit. So I just remember running to the bathroom, and Jared runs behind me to make sure I'm okay. And then I remember looking up at Jared, and then all of a sudden, half of his face I couldn't see. They did the CAT scan, and that's when they showed the brain bleed. I was hemorrhaging. I had had a stroke at that point, and hours had passed, and we didn't know.
The gravity of that situation, it took a while to set in until it realized, like, wait, like, this is really bad. She's really sick. There's a possibility I might lose my wife right now. And it was just, it was the scariest day of my life.
So my medical records say that my stroke was caused from postpartum preeclampsia. And that's kind of difficult for me to accept because I feel as though I had the signs of preeclampsia that last week of my pregnancy. And I feel as though if my concerns were heard and someone really listened to me and this was treated sooner, my stroke wouldn't have happened. Like, it was one of the hardest things, knowing that you just gave birth to a baby boy and he's home without you and you're in a hospital fighting for your life. As a new mom, the only thing you want to do is love your baby and take care of your baby. And when you can't, you physically can't do so. It was the hardest thing.
I think if our needs and our concerns had been taken seriously and addressed, then we wouldn't be in the position that we're in.
I didn't learn about, I guess, the lasting impact of brain damage that you can have from a stroke. I have my vision loss, and I have a lot of cognitive issues, a lot of issues with processing information, focusing, memory. I think the focus was more so on the physical disabilities that, we didn't quite know about the invisible disabilities that were to come. When I first think of March of Dimes, I think of all the work they do with NICU families. But I learned that there's so much more than that. They work in providing so many resources for families, moms and babies, and making sure that they're taken care of in so many different areas that are needed during these crucial times. Also, all the work they do in advocating for maternal health. I want to share my story to help, whether that's someone else feeling seen, someone else going through some type of trauma, or someone else going through a traumatic birthing experience. I wanted to help others feel as though, they're not the only ones going through something.
Every time I watch this video, I've played this video many times, and every time I watch it, I'm always struck by when Chanel says she feels like her expressions they went unheard, you know. And I think that is a very important thing, particularly for Black women to know, is that you have to use your voice in the hospital to advocate for yourself and to have others there who advocate for you. You may have seen on that slide that it mentioned that her family demanded a CAT scan, which tells you, for whatever reason, the healthcare workers were not tending to her needs in the way in which would have been most helpful. And we all know with strokes, you know, it's a matter of time. And so you really have to move very, very quickly. But I'm grateful that Chanel that this is a story of surviving, and that her baby is healthy, but certainly she will live with the ramifications of what happened to her for the rest of her life. And so the work that you're doing, it hits home, and it's really, really important. And I hope that as other Spelman sisters watch this and engage with March of Dimes, they will know that the work that they're doing, when they're asking somebody to donate, or they're doing some sort of car wash, or however they choose to participate, that their work really does matter, and it really does make a difference to moms like Chanel, not only in the United States, but really all over the world. And so thank you for indulging me in watching that video, because I really do think it expresses the important value of our work. When we think about 2022 and what happened last year, so it was our first year back after the pandemic hit really hard and caused us to kind of shift our focus. So it was nice to be back in person, and to come out of the gate and raise nearly $3 million more than we had the previous year was really extreme for us. And there's a lot to celebrate there, and we're excited about our continued growth. There were more than 114 communities across the countries that participated in March for Babies, and 160,000 participants came out to the walk or hosted a walk in their own community, at their church, their synagogue, perhaps their community center, all over the place, in their grocery store parking lot. I mean, people hosted walks all over the place in the absence of where we previously had offices. And so it was really, really exciting to see that engagement this year. NAASC raised over $2,800 last year, which was really exciting to have the partnership and to see amongst all of the things that you all are participating in and raising money for, that you would engage with us. And so we're really, really grateful to have your partnership, and excited for 2023 and what lies ahead. One of the things that your leadership team asked me to do was to keep the message simple tonight. So the simple message is register for March for Babies. That's exactly what we need you to do. Right now, there's already some money that has been raised, $451. This QR code that is on the screen is just to make it easy. So you can hold your phone up, scan that. It'll take you straight to the NAASC page on March for Babies, and you can go straight there. We're going to have one team dedicated to your effort. So please go there and register. If you have challenges registering for any reason, we do have on our website, you can just chat in. There's also a phone number listed there, and certainly you can reach out to me if you're having challenge with the registration process, but you should be able to do it in a few short clicks, and that will get you started on your fundraising for this year. It's real simple, the call to action. Register for March for Babies. Consider making a donation to yourself. This is our 85th year. I mentioned that earlier, which is really, really exciting. I think setting a goal for yourself, even to raise that amount of money, certainly there's many of you, and those kinds of gifts add up quickly. So consider that when you're thinking about your fundraising. And then you can also update your personal story on the website. So once you register, it creates a profile for you, and there's a dashboard there. And on that website, if you choose to fundraise through social media, you can do that there. The other thing that I wanted to point out from a fundraising tools perspective, if you go to marchforbabies.org and choose to do traditional online fundraising, these are some of the badges that you could use on social media. So if you like to fundraise through Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok or Facebook, all of those things are there. I will tell you, if you're curious, just to know, why are they always trying to push fundraising online? It's because you raise exponentially more money. So typically for March for Babies, we took a look at what happens when people go on our website and register. The average walker is raising about $130. If they raise money through social media, they raise closer to $430. So that's why we talk about social media all the time. As you know, social media has a really long reach. The other thing is loyalty and recognition. So for those of you who fundraise with us, we have some benchmarks along the way. You'll see on the next slide an example of the t-shirt. If you raise $100, this is the t-shirt that you're eligible for. You can pick this up on site at your walk. If you're walking in a community where there is not a March for Babies location nearby, or you won't be able to attend in person, this shirt will be sent to you. And there are other levels at which there are some recognition things. And so I just called out 2 of them, but there are others. At this $2,500 level, we are able to provide what we call meals that matter. So we go into the NICU and we provide meals to families who are in the NICU with their baby. And people who go to the NICU often are spending weeks, sometimes months in the NICU. And so you cannot imagine the smile that's on their face when we show up with a sandwich from Panera or a salad from somewhere in town. It really is a nice way to let those families know that they're seeing through what is such a difficult time. The other thing that I wanted to point out to you are some other engagement tools. So if you're saying to yourself, well, Joy, fundraising is not going to be my thing this year, but I really want to focus on advocacy. I believe in the work that you are doing. You can sign up for our advocacy alerts. If you're interested in volunteering as a group, you could do that as well through our website. There's a number of videos that are available, images, things like that. If you want to create your own flyer, if you want to add something on your own social media. And so all of those resources are listed here for you. That concludes the presentation. So I will pause now, take a sip of water, and allow you to ask me any questions if you have any.
I have a question. How do you find out if there's a walk scheduled in your community?
Yep. So when you go to our website, marchforbabies.org, there is a place to put in your zip code. Find a walk near me, you put in your zip code and it'll tell you if one is nearby. It stretches really, really far, Kiva. So there are, it'll say the closest walk is 200 miles away. Well, obviously, you're likely not going to be attending a walk that's 200 miles away unless you have a family member or something, you find yourself in another city. But that's the easiest way to do it. I also can provide you with a list of where we have walks so that you have that and you can send that out to your network as well so that they're aware of where the in-person walks are happening. Anything else I can answer for you or clarify?
Would you be able to provide that last slide with the different options for advocacy and
Yes,
volunteering?
absolutely. Yeah, I will send the final version of this out to you as soon as we hang up. And I'll zip it for you too, Vanessa, so we can make sure you get it. So yes, I can absolutely do that. Pamela, you have a question?
Yeah, similar. Even can the deck be shared?
Yes, I'm happy to send it
Okay.
over to your leadership here, and then I'm certain they will post it somewhere or have it. Or if you want to send me your email, I can also send it to you.
Yeah, I'm live in Atlanta as well, and we just did the Georgia Day at the Capitol, and in one of our sessions on advocacy, we had a group just kind of come talk about upcoming legislation and the need for, healthy babies. So I think this would just be a good complement to that. So thank you for this presentation.
Oh, absolutely. If you want to, I think you can if you have access to drop your email in the chat, you could do that and I can send it to you, or you can receive it once I send it again over to the leadership team.
Okay, the chat's disabled, but I'll do it through the Q&A.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
And I think we plan to put this up on our YouTube page.
Okay, that's even better. I can just get a link and share it. So I can just do that. Thanks.
Okay. Anything else I can answer for anyone? Well, I want to thank you all for taking the time to join me this evening so that I can properly thank you for your participation in 2022 March for Babies. I look forward to having you all participate in 2023. I will be out at some walks in the spring. So if you're in Atlanta, I definitely will see you there. If you happen to be in Nashville or Birmingham, I'll be in the Southeast corridor. So perhaps I will see you at a walk. If you see me there, please feel free to come up and talk to me. I'd love to meet you in person, and thank you for your participation. If there are no other questions, then we can close out the session. Kiva, Vanessa, Kim, anything from the three of you?
I think this information has been great. We hope to have an improved year than last year. So we'll hope we can get this out to our chapters and whatnot, get it early enough along. Because I think we mentioned doing things in April is very hard for us because we celebrate Founders Day across the country and in Atlanta. And a lot of chapters are doing a lot of things during the month of April. But we'll put this in their ear, and hopefully we'll get some participation along from them as well.
We would love that. I was explaining earlier to Vanessa that you could choose to do your March for Babies campaign in September. It could be any time that you want to do it. Our website is open. There are some organizations that like to close the campaign out on June 30th. And so we certainly honor and respect that, but we also understand life is busy. My friend says this to me all the time, life is real lifey. And I don't know if y'all have that experience, but there's just a lot going on. So a chapter could decide like, hey, the better time for us is November 1st. And we certainly would respect that. We love that. And we would support them along the way if they wanted to do something. You can even go to your walk in May and then decide you're going to fundraise much later. If you want to come out and celebrate and get the education and the materials and that kind of thing, we'd love to have you engage at a walk, and you can certainly participate and fundraise later if you choose to do that. So know that that option is always there because there is just so many things happening in the spring, graduations and all kinds of things.
I think the other thing we wanted to, Vanessa, you can help me with this. When people do go online to register, there's a place for notes or something like that where you can indicate your chapter. Since we're not doing separate teams, but you could put your chapter in so we can see what chapters are participating. So if folks online will continue to share that information, that'll help too.
And I can make a note of that, Kiva. I will add that note on the slide that has the QR code to just say that I can add a little note that says, please enter your chapter name when you register or something like that, just so it's there in case other folks who watch it later on or see it on YouTube or whatever, they can have a little reminder about that as well.
Is it necessary to register? Because I did not this year. I just donated straight to the team and it just went through because that was some prior messaging that we had.
Oh, that's what I meant when I donated my money.
Mm-hmm. You can do that as well. All right, well, hearing no other questions, I will stop the recording. And again, thank you all for your time this evening. I hope you all have a great evening. And if you need anything, you know how to find me or Erica. She'll be back very soon. All right, thank you so much. Have a great evening.